It's always a great day at the Mandalay Bay as we bring you the fastest show in all of wagertainment, talking all things sports betting. The show presented by, you guessed it, BetMGM. That would be weird. Someone else after all that intro. The sports book born in Vegas. Rumors say literal steps, feet from where we are right now is where it happened, where BetMGM was born, here in Vegas. Download the BetMGM app. Visit BetMGM.com. And also rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Download the podcast. Support us for all the free content, all the free wagertainment we bring you on a daily basis. Odyssey app, Apple, Spotify. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Whatever it is, rate, review, and subscribe, and download the podcast. But you know how we're starting today's show, with an absolutely epic NFL season opener. Won and covered, of course, by the soon-to-be reigning, defending, three-time Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs, and lost by the Baltimore Ravens. Kansas City winning the game 27-20. Hashtag never a doubt. Except, unfortunately, there was a lot of doubt. Obviously, everyone knows at this point, you all watched the game. Kansas City covered by a toe, literally, Isaiah Likely's toe, at the back of the end zone on the final play of the game. And just like before we get into the game breakdown, Exhibit 785, why sports betting is the absolute nuts. Why sports betting is the absolute best thing. Because look, you might be a Chiefs fan. You had a great time last night. Ravens fan, your team lost, but you probably enjoyed. Well, I guess PJ didn't, right? We're talking with PJ Glasser. But you could be a Chiefs fan, a Ravens fan, really enjoy yourself. Play fantasy football. Maybe at the end of the game, you've got Isaiah Likely. You've got Lamar Jackson. Maybe you're hoping for overtime. More points for Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, all these things are great, but it's nothing compared to the rush that you get from betting on sports at the end of one of these games, where on the final play of the game, depending on the number that you bet the total at, everything is up in the air. Like the Ravens are correctly, by the way, going to go for two if they score that touchdown. So if Isaiah Likely's in, Baltimore covers the spread, it's over. If you bet the money line of the game, it's going to come down to the 2-point conversion. And depending on what you bet the total at, you either win or lose or push, I guess, based on what happens on that final play. Sports betting is the absolute best. And just like we talk about, every day at the end of the show, I do the tagline, minimal sweats, winning bets, the absolute very best of luck. Last night was maximum sweats, but we did get a winning bet, so it was okay. And this was one of those, and bettors can appreciate this. Like the Jim Carrey line from Dumb and Dumber, didn't even see it coming, man. We saw this one coming from a mile away. Femi and I are sitting next to each other at the Aria watching the game. Shout out to Edgar and his great team at the Aria. Yes. And we literally go to each other with 10 minutes left. It's going to be really, really frustrating when Kansas City somehow doesn't cover the spread in this game. We saw it coming. Of course, I'm sure you did as well. No matter what side you bet, we could all see this coming, and it comes down to the final play. And thankfully for us and for you, if you bet the Kansas City Chiefs, KC gets it done and improves to 1-0. Huge, by the way, for KC over wins, for Baltimore under wins. So good night for your boy last night. Good night for Femi. Good night for Tyler, for Jake, and hopefully for you, our listeners and viewers. Let's talk game breakdown now. And I'm going to break the game down into 3 buckets. The bucket of bets. 3 breakdowns separate from last night. Officiating, Chiefs, and then the one that I think is by far the most interesting of the 3, the losing team, the Baltimore Ravens. So we'll start quickly with the officiating, where much like Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, these horror movie villains that can't be killed, it's just, we can never escape the frickin' Hercules. Here's Demon Spawn, baby Hercules last night, taking his dad's place. You have to say curls for girls. He's doing bicep curls for the camera because he loves to be on camera, loves to throw flags, a ton of them, and be on national television. How about, and I bet the Chiefs in the game. I think it may be the most egregious no call in the history of sports. The roughing the passer call out of bounds on Patrick Mahomes. Not even that I care that they didn't throw the flag. Just Mahomes got hit clearly out of bounds. No flag. Is that the most shocking no call in the history of sports? That's what happened?
Stunned.
That was terrible. The officiating's brutal. It's always brutal. It's going to be a terrible officiated season because every season is. One thing that was noteworthy, and we'll see what happens tonight. I don't know if Lane Johnson slept last night in Brazil, maybe for many reasons. But all the illegal formation calls on Ronnie Stanley, on Jawan Taylor, Lane Johnson has been jumping offside on every play since like 2001. He hasn't even been in the NFL for that long. Curious to see how that is officiated tonight and how the tackles are officiated moving forward, maybe giving a small advantage to the defense. We'll have to see how that plays out. So that's the officiating. I wanted to start there. Now let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Duh. Like, wow, once again, Kansas City shows that they're better than Baltimore. Duh. Can't believe that happened. Or it was really, really predictable. Xavier Worthy, good at football. Xavier Worthy, really fast. I'll stop short of saying he's the next Tyreek Hill. I don't know if that's true, but he's really awesome, really electric. First NFL touch results in a touchdown, and then a 35-yard touchdown on a busted coverage by Marlon Humphrey and the Ravens defense. Again, questions, like we said, coming into the year about the Ravens defense sans Yacht Rock sensation, Mike McDonald. Xavier Worthy, awesome. How about Rashee Rice? He might have been the best player on the field for either team last night. Absolutely awesome. Reminded me in those slants over the middle of the field like a young Odell Beckham, and I mean that in the most complimentary way possible. He was absolutely unstoppable. I will wear the L proudly on this. I will tell you when I make a good bet, when I make a bad bet, win or lose, whatever. The Travis Kelce over prop bet last night was not a good bet. Not really involved. Noah Gray was involved. Rice was involved. Worthy was involved. Not a great bet by me with Travis Kelce, so I will wear the L on that one. That was one thing I was wrong about last night with the Chiefs. The other thing I was wrong about was the drops. I said earlier in the week that one of the reasons why I like Kansas City this year is because of all the dropped passes last year, and they improved the pass-catching core this year. I didn't see Kansas City dropping a million passes this year. Well, lo and behold, we get to the end of the game. Ravens have a chance to tie and win because of dropped passes by the Chiefs in big spots. Big drops, big spots. Isaiah Pacheco, big drop. Juju Smith-Schuster, there's like Mad Libs. He was on the Patriots 2 weeks ago. Now he's almost screwing us out of money for the Kansas City Chiefs. Go back to TikTok, Juju. And Samaje Perine, who's been on the Chiefs for 72 hours, huge drop in the game. Keep in mind, Hollywood Brown didn't play last night. The Chiefs' offense is only going to get better. Perine more integrated. Send Juju Smith-Schuster back to TikTok. Get him out. Send him to China. Get him out of here. I don't want to see him again. This Chiefs offense is only going to get better. And, of course, brilliance from the great Patrick Mahomes. As per usual, good performance by the KC offensive line. And the Chiefs, of course, because of course they do, start off 1-0. You can't go 20-0 without first going 1-0. I'm only exaggerating by a little bit. So Kansas City wins to go to 1-0. The Ravens lose to drop to 0-1. Let's talk about the Ravens. I know, because I watched the game, we all did, that they could have won the game. They might have gotten the 2-point, like they have the personnel with Lamar and Derrick Henry. Maybe Todd Monken calls a stupid play, I don't know. But like they could have easily, if Likely's in, got the 2-point conversion and won the game. They could have won. But let's be honest here. Even if you bet the Ravens, can we have an honest... I'm not saying this because I bet the Chiefs. I'm saying it because it's the frickin' truth. Did anyone watch this game last night and walk away actually thinking that the Ravens are on the same level as the Kansas City Chiefs? Like, does anyone think that? No matter what your bet is, what team you root for, what you do in fantasy, does anyone think that Baltimore is on the same level as the Kansas City Chiefs? The offensive line is a train wreck. Like we talked about all offseason, replacing 3 starters. Here's a bunch of rookies. It's a patchwork deal. Lamar Jackson running for his life. He did great at it. We'll talk about him in a second. But they can't protect Lamar Jackson, turning this offense into like a horizontal offense, except when Lamar is out of structure, like the beautiful pass to Isaiah Likely goes to score that touchdown. But, I mean, the average depth of target is like 2 yards past the line of scrimmage on a lot of these passes. Now, the Travis Kelce bet, bad bet by me. Zay Flowers loses. That's an unlucky loss. And look, a loss is a loss is a loss is a loss. 9 targets. You expect him to get over 52.5 yards and 4 targets on plays that were penalized, including 2 obvious pass interferences. I feel like that one was a little unlucky. Also had terrible clock management in the game by John Harbaugh, who used to be great at this, using those 2 timeouts at the start of the second half. You think you could have used one of those timeouts at the end of the game going up against, Patrick Mahomes? And the last thing to hit here on the Baltimore Ravens, and I want to be careful about how I parse through this, because Lamar Jackson was very good last night. He is the reason why the Ravens had a chance to win the game last night. So again, listen to me. Lamar Jackson gave them the chance to win the game. Lamar Jackson was very good. But Lamar Jackson was not great. And great is the bar set by Patrick Mahomes. I know he rushed for over 100 yards. I know he had some good throws in the game. Let's talk about some throws that Lamar didn't make. And again, he's awesome. He's really good. But you want to slay the dragon, you want to win a Super Bowl, you want to win this division this year, like, you got to make the throw to Zay Flowers that Jalen Watson batted away, going from right to left on your television screen. You got to make that throw. You got to put 5 yards more air underneath the ball. You got to hit Isaiah Likely in the corner of the end zone on that first shot to the end zone, where it looked like Likely was dead on the field, and then he came back and almost scored a touchdown. He should win comeback player of the year. You got to hit Zay Flowers on the second play. He's wide open in the back of the end zone. You got to make that throw, and maybe, just maybe, a better throw by Lamar Jackson, and Isaiah Likely doesn't have his toe just out of bounds. So again, this is not Lamar Jackson's bad. He's really, really, really good. But the bar is Patrick Mahomes.